What makes In Focus unique?
The in-focus lessons are very short. Teachers can do them in 10 or 15 minutes about 4 times a week, and so it's very easy for teachers to implement it. It just becomes a part of the routine in the school day. That works much more effectively than doing longer programs or longer lessons, 30-minute lessons a week apart. We know that in terms of learning, doing something over and over again every day for shorter amounts of time makes more sense, and it just fits in so much more nicely for the teachers and their schedules.
Well, there's a lot that I like about the program. At first, I was a little hesitant to try it just because of the time involved, but then I discovered that it really didn't take a whole lot of time for me to use it in my classroom, and I saw results immediately, with just the way that my students would react to read alouds that I'm reading. As I'd read something aloud, they'd say, oh, well, if this person had shown more empathy towards this other character, then they might have avoided some of these problems. And so just seeing them use it in other areas in their life was exciting.
I really like that the lessons are brief. They pack a lot into a brief lesson, so teachers can either extend the lessons or keep them short in order to make sure they're getting in the SEL instruction every single day. When I was teaching in Focus to a third grade group of students, some of the topics just lended themselves to longer conversations depending on what was happening in the classroom. So I had the flexibility to make the lessons a little bit longer if need be. But if we were pressed for time, we could touch on a topic, and I knew that we would revisit that topic later. So if we needed to discuss it more in depth, that we had the flexibility to do so. I think one of the strengths of M-Focus is that it is brain-based. So it helps teach students about the way they feel in connection to brain science, so that they know, these feelings are normal. All people have these emotions. There's nothing wrong with them because they feel upset. It helps them identify the decisions that they make and the reasons why they make those decisions. So having conversations with students about poor choices now that we've been using M-Focus for 2 years is really different than the way we would have conversations about making poor choices before.
I think it's so important to see the science behind what's happening inside of our bodies when we feel a certain way or have an impulse to react a certain way. It's been really cool for me to learn the science behind it so that I'm able to explain it a lot better to my students. Are you in your brainstem? Are you in your limbic system? And that they almost trust that a little bit more because they've seen pictures of the brain. We've talked about where your emotions lie and where you need to be in order to be a creative thinker or fight or flight in your brainstem. And so I think that helps them see how real it is and how important it is to regulate your emotions. And it's been cool for me to learn the terminology, and we've talked about speeding up and slowing down your nervous system and when that needs to happen. And I think that it's empowering to be educated about it. It's empowering to know this is what's going on inside of me physically, and this is what I can do to regulate myself or control myself. And just teaching that science and that tying in the human anatomy with that has been really beneficial.
Well, there's so many things I like about In Focus. The lessons are really simple and easy to use, and I feel like the kids learn so much about their brain and how their brain works and where emotions come from in the brain. And but it's yet very simple lessons that are very usable for this age, and the kids were able to take it onto other parts of their lives all day long. I mean, I had a student that had autism this year, and I was really thinking he was going to have a tough year, and by learning about the parts of the brain, he really loved knowing that and would say, the dog part of my brain's having a hard time with this. So to hear that they understood and were able to apply it, the application is huge. And it's a very small time of your day, but such a powerful part of your day.